Hey everybody, welcome to another segment of Tony's show, and today we are going to be, I don't know, I guess a little bit tamed, a little bit. Because we've been talking about these masks and about the uselessness of these masks, and more doctors now are getting on the bandwagon and validating this. Another one came on BitChute today, and I had another report come in, so I posted one more report on the COVID mask fiasco. And then I was watching something on the news tonight, and they were saying how they were saying that Vancouver had made some major, breakthroughs with the COVID. They're down to 1% and blah, blah, blah. And I was listening to this, and I thought, okay, they actually believe that this thing exists, and they think that it's an actual pandemic. But I thought something a little odd about that. I thought something was a little odd about that. Toronto is a major city, and Vancouver is a major city. But Vancouver is a wealthier city, I guess on some levels, than Toronto is. And I thought this was a big money racket going on there. They're saying that, Vancouver is doing so much better and blah, blah, blah. And the percentage is less than 1%. I thought, what a load of bullshit. Total bullshit. When we got communities here like in Essex County, Essex, Kingsville, Leamington, Wheatley, Colchester, all these little communities outside of Windsor, Tecumseh, the rest of them. These are small little towns that won't have the big major problems that a big city would have. In fact, Essex County, it's pretty easy going right now here until they decide that all of a sudden the numbers in Essex County are all far-fetched and they're way out there and blah, blah, blah. And as I was talking about the truck driver the other night, I had a word for him. What a pansy ass that bastard was. I was looking at this and thinking, this is a scam. This is a bunch of bullshit. They can't afford to lock down Vancouver. If they lock down Vancouver, the government of Canada will not be able to afford to sustain the economic loss that Vancouver provides in the coffers. And the same thing is going to happen. Calgary's going to be pretty well right off. They're not going to give a shit about Calgary. Calgary's a fly-by-night thing. And it's not going to have much. I mean, they took away their oil. They took away their other prospects. So other than cattle, they don't really have a whole lot going on there. So they're going to play this monkey game with Calgary. These numbers are up. Oh, geez, you're going to die. Oh, put on your body condom. Put on your hand condom. Put on your mask. Put on that spacesuit. You can't go outside. Wear your spacesuit. That's what's going to be happening there. And then I thought about Toronto. Well, Toronto's like the largest city in Canada, population-wise. And I thought, okay, we're not shutting down. We're still shutting down Toronto. Is it because Toronto's got so much money that it can afford this? What a game. And then I thought, this is probably what we're going to see in Canada. If you're a major metropolitan area with a high populace and I guess a high economics, they're going to get you there. They're going to get you through this process a lot faster. You got to get there fast because they can't afford it. Canada's under the WHO administration, and that was a mistake. That was a mistake on epic proportions. But for some reason, Canada was sacrificed so that other countries could watch what's going to happen here. Don't you feel great? Don't you just feel so positive that you are the prototype, you are the guinea pig, you are the sacrificial lamb to be just slaughtered so that other countries could, enjoy, watching us have fun. Yay, have fun. Ooh, look at Canada go down. Canada's going down fast. Yes, it is. Woo-hoo. And COVID isn't doing it. COVID is just a fake. It's the fakery. Ooh-hoo-hoo. Someone wrote me today and said, how do I protect myself against COVID? I said, how can you protect yourself against something that doesn't exist? You know, it's amazing to me. It really is amazing and astonishing to me how people have been so gullibly bought into the whole TV soap opera on this whole pandemic. It's not, there isn't a pandemic out here, but they have created this pandemic soap opera, and the idiots, they can't think beyond a 4-year-old mentality. You know, I'm 4-year-old. They're just sucked in. And if you're going to try to tell anybody the truth today about, you know, what's going on, if they have this paranoia, fear, and this over-anxious mind, and this terrified mentality like that truck driver did, you know, this is the thing nobody does. Nobody looks outside. Nobody looks around them. You go and shop and you see a bunch of people in Costco, Walmart, Canadian Tire, Superstore, Giant Tiger, you know, any other big box store, TSC, Princess Auto, whatever. And you go into these stores and you don't see anybody dying. You don't see anybody collapsing. You're driving down the road. You don't see somebody just slumped over behind the steering wheel unless they've got a stupid mask on while they're driving. But you don't see somebody slumped over the steering wheel dead. Nobody's seeing any dead people. Nobody's seeing anybody dropping down on their face saying, oh, and, you know, just die. Nobody is seeing this, and yet people have this outrageous fear that the television has, you know, proportionally blown out of proportion. And then you're going to hear this nonsense. Well, the reason why we don't see anybody is because we've been doing what they told us to do. You ain't seeing nobody dying because there ain't no pandemic. The masks don't stop anything. They don't stop particulate matter. They don't stop the spitting. Even Fauci, somebody sent me nothing today. Fauci's saying that they don't work. And, you know, in the last week or so, I sent you all kinds of data on the show where they're saying, the WHO is even saying they don't work. So obviously, if the masks aren't working and can't stop a virus, then why aren't we seeing more people dead? Why aren't we seeing more people dropping like flies? Why aren't we seeing the disastrous catastrophe that China saw? Because the Chinese were already vaccinated with the program to be turned on by 6G technology. They're getting everybody ready here for it. You know, today it's on. I believe it's in the show today. You are going to see that now the Black Plague. I shouldn't say the Black Plague because they may be considered politically incorrect. You know, it might be a color problem. The bubonic plague was discovered in Colorado. Colorado. Now, how would a squirrel or a marmot get the Black Plague? Black Plague had to do with unsanitary conditions. Water supply being polluted with shit and piss, and then the animals would be drinking from that to be able to get this. So is this saying that the filtration systems that are currently meant to filter our water supply have been turned off? Are they creating another? I said this first one was going to be a prototype to see how many people would fall for the stupid shit. The second one is going to be the real deal. Wait till they tell you to put on your mask. Oh, put on your mask. It's going to protect you from the Black Plague. And you'll start dropping like flies. They'll be just sweeping you. They'll be sweeping you with the manure. That's the game. That's how they're playing. The first one is, okay, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on thee. They're going to fool us 3 or 4 more times because they can. And because they can, they will. And because they will is due to the fact that most people today do not know how to use the powers of observation that are simply all around you. I don't know, like I said, it astounds me and amazes me. It really does. Something to be really concerned about, though, is nanotechnology, nanobiology, nanogenetics, nano-DNA. Because these things can have a profound effect on your overall health. And we're not recovering the way we should just because we're all inundated with this technology, this nanobiotech. Just to give you an idea how much they can manipulate the DNA, they took the Wizard of Oz and wrote it on a double helix code of DNA, the whole show. The whole show. When people write to me about nanoparticles, nanofluorines, I always tell them, this is not just metal you're dealing with. It's not just a consolidation of metal that's concentrated in your cells. This is a program operating system. Anything that can self-replicate, self-assemble, and self-repair is an operating system. And anything that can build a network in your body using your body's proteins or carbon or fat, lipids, and know exactly where to go and what to do and where to attach, what to build, is an operating system. So if you're going to be dealing with this, you're going to have to deal with it as an operating system, not as a bunch of hunk of metal. Some guy wrote to me the other day, and he's still caught up on this whole, I forget now, there's some kind of fungi and some kind of ropeworm concept. I told him when he gets caught up in 15 minutes to send me an email. See, the thing is about nanotechnology, nanobiology, nanogenetics, once nano enters the body, it immediately integrates with the DNA and the genetic code. Doesn't matter who you are or what you are. Whether you're a fungi, bacteria, mold, insect life, mammal life, reptilian life, amphibian life, life in general, environmental, plants of all kinds. Once it's there, it integrates immediately into the DNA. Once that happens, it starts to alter that DNA sequence to fulfill its operating system's program to self-assemble, self-repair, and to self-replicate. So you are dealing with an operating system that isn't going to just go away with whatever you think is going to work. You have to disengage the program. I've been saying that now for 12 years. Hopefully somebody has listened along the way. Just like that nurse or doctor came out the other day and started talking about the nanoparticles in the vaccines. We talked about that again 12 years ago, and yet nobody listened back then either. And then a couple of doctors, husband and wife, found nanoparticles in vaccines in Italy that weren't supposed to be there. That was only a couple of years ago. So nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is that the expose or the exposure of the nano discovery in the vaccines has gone away. You know, it has faded into the sunset. Like I said, I've been telling you for years and years and years, that this nano assembly just goes crazy with your DNA genetic code, your chromosomes. Activation by frequencies and frequency modulations and frequency programming. We're dealing with a type of warfare that may have already happened in past histories, in 10,000 years ago or whatever. I do not put anything past anything anymore in regarding to what we have been exposed to. This has been done before. The evidence is all around you. Look at all the countries that have a high desert population, a desert, as a high dense desert. What do you think was there before? Why do you think they can't find remnants of certain civilizations? Because the nano turned them to dust. You know, the Bible says ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Ash is carbon, dust is silica. So whatever fell upon them, they had probably reached the same level of technology, and they weren't careful, and they took them out. And we're in that same precipice today. There's no difference. No difference. You know, do your homework on things. When I had a woman contact me today and asked me if I could make C60 for her. I thought, are you kidding me? I wrote her back and said, are you effing nuts? You know, and I explained to her about the whole concept of the C60 and how it can destroy your DNA. That's on tonight's show too, or the other night's show. So, you know, why these things? Because the health food industry is propagating them. I found that so shocking. You know, after all these years of talking about the dangers of carbon C60, that someone would ask me to make it for them. I thought, you got to be kidding me. You know, the effect and the impact of carbon C60 and what it does to the DNA and what it does to the skeletal system and what it does to the organs and what it does to the brain, how it hardwires you, and so then it makes you more susceptible to be activated by frequencies. Who in their right mind would want to eat this shit is beyond me. But anyway, like I said, as long as you keep reading the fairy tales and the fiction that the health food industry is propagating, you got to remember the health food industry doesn't give a rat's flying flamingo about you. Nothing. All they care about is selling X amount of bottles every day to make their profit margin. And so if you don't know what you're doing, say tough luck, say la vie, you know, you're on your own. And if you're willing to believe all the nonsense that the internet presents in the sales of these products, you know, you're going to be hooped and hooped many times. If you're not reading for the silica, the titanium, the aluminum, if you're not reading for other heavy metals in these products, if you're not reading for the microcrystalline cellulose or other words ending with OSC in the supplements, if you're not, you know, if you're not reading about soy or natural and artificial flavors, what are you buying? Why are you buying these things if you don't know what these things mean? See, this is what astonishes me. You know, I used to read labels too years ago, but I didn't understand some of the things I was reading, so I would go look it up or check it out. Sometimes I could find data, sometimes I couldn't. But once I discovered that silica was a dangerous carcinogen for the system, I started looking at all my vitamins that had silica and threw them all away. We can no longer trust anything. You have to start taking the bull by the horns and carry the responsibility of what's going on today, because, like I said, they don't care. They don't give a shit about you. They may sound nice and polite. They may seem very informative and helpful because you've got a health condition. But majority of the health food stores today don't have the staff that knows what the stuff can really do. And secondly, the staff is just there to move product. It's one thing to move product and know what you're doing, and knowing how to help people correctly decide what they should be taking. That's one thing. But to go into a place and not really know what you're doing and just selling stuff because the boss told you to we need to sell 30 bottles of ginkgo today so we can make the profit margin on the ginkgo, then perhaps you might want to start reading what's in those products so that you're not advocating problems to the people that are, wanting to buy your stuff. Like I said, there is an article tonight about nanonutraceuticals. You might want to read it. I've been saying for the longest time these things are not good for you. They're toxic. There's an actual report on it tonight. It'll be on the site. What they have done is they've taken things, nano-sized them all, corrupting the components with the nano sizing. Then they added other nanoparticles like silica, aluminum lake, titanium to further cause damage to the excuse me to the males with the titanium. Silica for everybody, so they can wipe out the mitochondria of the heart and cause DNA damage. The aluminum lake to cause brain damage, especially to women. Women are more susceptible to aluminum than men are. So when we're looking at some of the stuff today and what we're talking about, this is why I advocate very strongly that you read your labels. A lot of people send me emails saying, "Tony, is this good?" And sometimes I send it back to them and says, "Well, how do you read? What do you read? What do you see as good? What do you see as bad?" Because I'm trying to get everybody to become more autonomous on this stuff. So, like I said, it's important that we understand the nature of what we're being dealt with today. The media is the pandemic. The health issues we're all still dealing with have not gone away. We're still feeling the wrath of our bodies, being inflamed, or our bodies feeling whatever pain that they're feeling. So, when we're looking at everything overall, we got to see that overall, nothing has changed except they've added more stress with a fakery that doesn't exist. And this is how you have to start thinking today. If I already got a health condition, do I need to wear a mask? And if the answer is no, don't wear it. When you go in the store and say, I got a health condition, that mask will further accentuate to make it worse. And so then you can, like I said, that you are aware of your rights. Those exemption forms do work. So like I said, don't be a victim, stay on top. Stay on top. So when you're in a health food store, or you're listening to these ads on television, really take the time to read and study. Don't get caught up in the thrill of the moment, because you'll wind up buying stuff you really don't need and you shouldn't really be using. And if someone's basing a study on something, there better be more than one study. Just a thought. So that you can understand if someone makes a study, because you can take a study and make it work any way you want. But a real study would imply that there's more than one to validate whatever. And if they say, there we did second party studying and blah, blah, that doesn't mean nothing. You can pay the second party to write down whatever you want them to write down. This goes on in the pharmaceutical industry all the time. The safety of these vitamins or these drugs that the pharmaceutical industry sells, they'll sell the damn thing for 20 years, and then all of a sudden, everyone's dying of cancer now because of a chemical that they knew was in there from the word get-go, but they allowed it to be sold because they got $10 million to put a patent on it. We have no ethics. There is no ethics here. There is no ethics in our system. There's nothing. Zero. What we have is a system basically that if you've got money, you get the honey. That's just the way it works. And if you got no money, you get no honey. And if you want money, you got to dupe the guy below you so that you can get his money. And if you get enough people below you that you can, take their money, then you become affluential and powerful because now you've got their wealth. That's the way it goes. That's how it rolls. So like I said, spend time before you go buying, read an article, whatever it is you're doing. Take the time to really do a thorough research. Forget Google. Google is what it is. It's a search engine for shopping. It's a shopper's delight. If you want to go shopping, you'll have to go to Google. You've got to go to Google. Google will get you the shopping you're looking for. You want to go shopping, go to Google. You want real information, then go right to the URL and type it in. Don't allow yourself, like I said, the luxury, of assuming anything. Because in today's time, if you're listening to a person and they're saying how great and wonderful everything is with them and how everything is just working just spot on, then you might want to do some investigation to see if that isn't just some marketing ploy to suck you into buying crap you don't need, or buying crap that worse, it doesn't work, or you're buying crap now that could actually cause you more damage and more bodily harm to your system. If it says nano and it's some kind of metal, alloy or whatever, and they're selling it as a supplement, stay away from it. All nanometals are toxic to us. They alter our DNA and our genetic code. Not for the better. Everything they're doing is to weaken the immune system. The whole concept of this whole COVID crap was again to do the same thing, to weaken the immune system. So any way they can do this by using a nano nutraceutical and telling you it's good for you and you consume it because you think it's good for yourself, you will wind up breaking down. And you'll become more susceptible to any other kind of infection, which they will classify as COVID. You got COVID. The boogeyman got you. Oh, boogie woogie. So, again, let me reiterate about DNA. Writing the whole Wizard of Oz in DNA. On a nanoscale. We're talking nanoscale, writing a program into the DNA which is accessible like programming language. Put in the right program and it will access whatever you program it to. So when you read that article, you're going to freak out a little bit because you're going to begin to realize that your DNA can be hit with from any range or any distance, and they can turn on or put into your DNA whatever they want to put in there. This is why we are having problems healing. Nanobiology, biotech, and then having frequency assaulting us with this nanobiotech. It is a two-edged sword. It's cutting you one way and it's cutting you the other. So in other words, if you slice to the right and slice to the left and slice back, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing with all this. This is why I keep telling everybody it's important that you check out Brian396. You check out my site, Yanni's site. You're going to see where artificial life is there. And all the nano compositions that they put together, when they get together, they start immediately in creating a construct. So, what are we seeing happening? We are seeing us being experimented on with nanobiology or nanobiotech, and it's causing genetic alterations to our DNA. Remember, when you die, AI will get your DNA. AI will get your DNA because AI needs the DNA for an operating system and for it to expand. So, be aware that we're no longer in that world where you have privacy. If they can hack your DNA, they can hack anything. If they need to put something in your system, chances are they probably gave you some kind of tech to bring in with you, into your homes so that they can turn it on and monitor what's going on in your home. Wouldn't be a bit surprised. How many of you have ever gotten a free gift of late going into a shop? Perhaps it was bugged. How many of you got a flu shot last time they offered it? What did they put in that shot? What microchip did they got inside you? So like I said, we need to start thinking in terms of what's really going on today and how the warfare is going against, primarily at this stage, Europeans or those of European descent, because the CDC wanted to kill all the white people, because the white people are the only ones that were opposing to getting vaccinated. Well, white people today, if you really were to define them, are European people of European descent. That's what we really are. So when you see that kind of information, in regarding to wiping out specific species, because we read and we understand what's going into these vaccines. They don't want anybody else to know. They're saying the Asians are more than willing to do this in America, and so are the Hispanic people. My thinking to that is, what did they do to the Hispanic people to create such an anomaly? And now with this outbreak going on, who's to say that they haven't rounded up all these illegals and have basically extracted their DNA from them for artificial intelligence? We know that they take the blood of children for adrenochrome, they eat their organs or whatever. So the same kind of thing would transpire here. Not in the realm where people would be eating anything, but you have the materials there for the DNA, and understanding how that is completely manipulable today through the nanotechnology, through the frequencies. So like I said, it's time that we understand that we are in a war with AI, a war with those who have released AI on the general population. We are going to be dealing with this nano for quite some time, and they're sneaking that in as they keep everybody distracted with the COVID. See, the COVID is just a front. It's a distraction. It's just there to keep your eyes on it, and then when it goes away, whatever that they are trying to institutionalize in your realm or your area would have been completed. That's how it works. That's how it has always worked. So like I said, it's imperative that we stay observant. Don't just follow the crowd. Don't just follow everybody because everybody's doing it. You should be doing it too. If you're going to watch TV and see that they're going to cause some kind of an outbreak, you might want to, download the vid and share it with everybody so that everybody can see that how the fiasco is beginning. But yeah, this is how it would work. You come in, you get your shot, the money's funneled to the medical field, and the medical field just lives off the fat of the land. That's how she rolls. That's how she rolls. Alrighty, on my site, you got a lot of data tonight to go check out. Check out Yanni on his site. Check out Sherry at Three Churches. Check out Brian as well. On Brian 396. I'm just trying to think. I keep thinking I'm forgetting somebody. No, I guess that's it. And don't forget to check out my stuff as well. Read the stuff, check it out, send these pod beams out to all your network so that everybody can have a chance to see what's going on and then determine for themselves what they want to do. But at least they'll have heard the message or seen it if you can share it. All right, until the next segment, to your health. And remember, by the grace of God, we're still here. And when you get a chance, read the Gospels, because the Gospel means good news, and you may find some good news by reading the Gospels. Alrighty. So until the next segment, we are here. Take care.